Hello everybody, welcome back to the Farming Simulator 25 tips and tricks video. Today we're going to be talking about everyone's favorite crop that's not a harvestable crop, oilseed radish. Now, oilseed radish is typically used to fertilize a field, and therefore it is not necessarily harvestable, and therefore it is not a cash crop, meaning a crop that you grow for money. It is a catch crop, meaning that it is a crop you put in the ground to basically control erosion over the winter. So we have oilseed radish. It's located right here, and typically you're never really going to see AI plant oilseed radish, but I have seen from time to time comments related to players who are new to the game and are curious what oilseed radish is and how do you harvest it. And this video is basically all about that. Now, in a previous video, I touched on oilseed radish where we used it to fertilize field 36 in our generally fertilization video. I'll try to put a little tick mark up in the upper right corner to link you over to that. But today we're going to be using it here to cultivate and fertilize field 41 over the winter. You can see here field 41 is in a harvested state. And if we take a look at our soil composition, we see it has no fertilization state to it whatsoever. Now, there are multiple ways of putting oilseed radish into the ground. We can use a traditional seeder to do that. And to do that, we'd come here to our shop. We come down here to seeding. And any of these seeders are going to be able to put oilseed radish into the ground. That is the icon for it right there. And we're going to use traditional seed for oilseed radish. We're going to find that here under the seeds category. We have a big bag pallet of seed, 1,000 liters for $1,260. We have a big bag of seed, 1,000 liters for $1,260. And we have a pallet of seed bags, 1,050 liters for $1,260. Now, in this video, we're going to actually use a disc harrow for the purpose of putting our oilseed radish in the ground because it serves two purposes. One, it cultivates the soil, and two, it plants our oilseed radish. We're going to come here, we're going to use the Dalbo Power Chain 800, and we're going to add a seed unit for $5,000. And the reason we need to do that is, well, because our field over here isn't cultivated. Now, some seeders will allow you to seed on uncultivated soil because they'll basically cultivate ahead of the actual seeding process. But the Lemkin, which we typically use when we demonstrate our crops in these videos, does not have that feature. So I thought I'd take this opportunity to use the Dalbo Power Harrow that does have a seeding option. So let's go ahead and jump in our tractor here, and we'll back up to our seed. Oilseed radish is a very, very small seed, and as such, you really don't need a whole lot of capacity. You see our seed hopper holds a total of 300 liters for the seed. We're going to hit Y to toggle over to oilseed radish. We're going to hit X to unfold our disc harrow. And we get this really cool diamond-shaped implement. And we can see also we have the seeding unit on top. We have a blower. Then we have lines coming over here. And it is basically going to deposit the seed onto the ground between the discs. So the first disc is going to basically rough up the soil. The seed's going to drop in there. The second disc is going to cover it up. So we're going to turn our unit on, we're going to drop it down, and off we go. Now if we jump out of our tractor real quick and come over here, we can see that we have now oilseed radish in the ground. It is growing, and we have zero fertilization because, well, we're not going to get the fertilization until after we cultivate the ground a second time in the spring. So let me go ahead and, well, finish this process out, and then I'll bring in, and once we see what our oilseed radish looks like come September. So now that we're done our entire field as far as our planting our oilseed radish, we have used a total of 39 liters worth of seed. Not a whole lot. Pretty cheap if you factor in the fact that we're going to get a fertilization layer out of this ultimately. Now I'm going to go ahead and unload our seed out of this thing, because when it comes time to cultivate, I'm going to use this particular cultivator again. Come over here and check out our field. You're going to see, once again, we have oilseed radish growing, 0% fertilized. Do not fertilize this field. That's somewhat defeating the purpose. So we're going to leave it like this, and we're going to go ahead and fast forward into September. Okay, well, I really have no idea what this is, but at any rate, you can see here we have our oilseed radish. It has grown, but it's showing withered. All right, that's fine. That's fine. Because that's how basically this works. Is it grows, and it's now ready to harvest. But the idea of this is it's going to control soil erosion. Over winter, you want something in your fields to help prevent erosion from the snow, the rain, and all of the weather. And it's the same general purpose of why you would put grass seed on a hillside as opposed to simply leaving it covered in dirt. A hillside that's covered in dirt is going to erode. It's going to wear away. Big channels where water is draining is going to happen. But if you seed that hillside with grass, grass takes hold. The roots help hold the dirt in. You're going to minimize or nearly eliminate any erosion that might happen. So we moved back into October. And again, we just have our oilseed radish here. If we check our crop calendar, you're going to see that we can plant oilseed radish anytime from March to October. And we can harvest, air quote harvest. I really wish they wouldn't show a harvest here, because we don't harvest oilseed radish. But in essence, we can cultivate oilseed radish any time of the year. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fast forward into March. And we're going to pretend that we're going to be planting one of these crops that we can put in the ground in March. Let's say cotton. Okay? And then I'm going to show you what you would do to further prepare your field for cotton, or any other crop for that matter, after we get to spring and we're ready to plant in our field. We've made it to March, and well, you know, our crop is still showing withered here, which is all fine and dandy. And we're going to jump back into our dutes. We're going to unfold our disc harrow. And we're going to come up here, and we are going to now cultivate our oilseed radish into the ground. This is, in essence, the entire purpose of this crop. And as we are doing this, if we come and check our info overlays, right, you can see our oilseed radish is vanishing from our crop types. You see we have now a, what is this? I don't even know what that is. What color is that? Stubble tillage. So we have a stubble tillage overlay on our growth. And if we come over here and we see our need rolling, so now we are getting a fertilization layer by the act of cultivating our oilseed radish into the ground. We come out, we walk over here, we're going to see it is now 50% fertilized. It needs rolling, so once we cultivate our soil, if we want to come in here and roll it, well, we could do that and get a rolling bonus. But once we cultivate our oilseed radish in the ground, right, we're at a 50% fertilization layer, and we're now at a point where we can put our other crop in the ground and then tend to our field as we would by doing some weeding, by putting down another layer of fertilizer, or anything else. And that's it. That is the entire purpose of oilseed radish. It is a catch crop as opposed to a cash crop. All the crops that we can sell are cash crops. Meanwhile, this being a catch crop, its whole purpose is to limit soil erosion and basically give you an organic fertilization layer for, in essence, the time that it takes for you to cultivate the ground twice, and very, very low on seed cost, using just 39 liters worth of seed per hectare, basically. So let me know your thoughts down in the comments below with respect to oilseed radish. Is it a crop that you have ever used in the past? Is it a crop that you've been kind of curious on? Do you want to admit to being one of the folks who accidentally planted it thinking that it was a crop for money and then only discovered later on that nope, it wasn't a crop for money, it was a crop for something else? And until next time, happy farming.